So on this day, this is, I believe, July 13th. It is the first day of the last block of this training period before I enter my next tournament, which will be August 22nd, Fit for Life, Shreveport, Louisiana. This first day is all inside arm wrestling. One of my biggest weaknesses starting off was my inside game. I never really had an inside game. And honestly, I've probably trained it so much that it's really my main option these days. Maybe that's not ideal. Maybe I should bring up my outside arm wrestling a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. This first exercise is what I call a hook press. It's essentially a very, very shoulder-committed, supinated wrap press side pressure movement. See, I turn in a little bit, and I really, really hit that. I guess hook press. This would be a very advantageous position for me if I were to be able to hit that position in a match. Then I would probably at least be able to hold center, probably be able to pin someone. This exercise I'm doing for a 4x4 for this entire block. Starting weight today was 80 pounds. Felt very heavy. I've been progressing this move for pretty much this entire year, starting off somewhere around 40 or 50 pounds, and I've essentially doubled it. 80 pounds is starting to feel like a pretty close to a max, so I'm not going to progress next week or next session, but I am going to keep the weight the same. So this next movement is just standard down pressure, or a lot of people just say they're training their press in sort of a neutral hand or wrist position. One strap around the hand, one strap around the wrist. So it's a pretty decent application of pressure. I don't want it to be too much in the hand and then I feel like I have to cup. I don't want it to be too much in the wrist and then it's not very accurate to the table. This is one of the 3 or 4 basic directional pressures that is very important to develop, especially for finishing power. I know that there are tons and tons of athletes who will be able to get the match to A side and then they just can't finish. And this movement is fundamental in finishing power. Also, it's just good to have a press in general. If you're going to have a hook, you need a press. If you're going to just top roll, you need a press. You need to have that finishing power. This movement is pretty similar in weight to the hook press, though it's a little bit less. It's also pulling from a higher angle. The hook press was just about shoulder height, the same height that I would train my side pressure from. The down pressure is from the maxed out top end of my pulley. Frankly, I do wish that I could have it from a bit of a higher angle, and I'm going to mess around in my next program to figure out how to do that. I think I'll just need to lower the weight stack, as in make the starting point of the cable further back on the table, therefore it would be higher. But this position works for now, doing 77.5 pounds for a 4x4. This particular weight felt pretty good. Do believe that I'm going to progress next week in this movement. If not, then I'll just do the same weight. This is another movement I have been training for the better part of this year. It's just really good to be able to move downwards with tons of force. The third movement in this session is standard supinated side pressure. Side pressure through supination is very important to having an overall well-conditioned elbow. For the longest time, I really avoided this movement. I would do just standard neutral side pressure. I felt that probably standard neutral side pressure was better because, if it's neutral, then it's training the elbow just generally. But eventually I sort of figured out that supinating the hand and moving sideways really does attack a different part of the elbow, a part that is a lot more tender for people who haven't trained it. And this is going to be very important for actually developing the hook, the ability to move inside, to chop inside, and the ability to hold center with your supination. The movement really hurts the elbows. It does. I'm using only maybe 75% of the weight that I can use in standard directional side pressure. I'm dragging sideways. I'm not doing any sort of rotation or pin or anything like that. The cable is pretty much neutral with my shoulder. The wrap is wrapped around my hand, and my hand is supinated, and I'm moving sideways. This, I feel, is just another layer of elbow conditioning. Probably it's best to condition the elbow in as many positions as you can, and this is a non-starter for developing a hook. The last movement in this inside day is sort of a supinated internal rotation. The point of this movement is to start in almost a neutral back pressure position, supinate the hand inwards and rotate the elbow, internally rotate the elbow inwards. I have, for the longest time, desired so much to have a decent hook. And I would train my hook press, my supinated side pressure, my down pressure, my side pressure, my cup, all these things. But I would always have trouble actually turning the match from a top roll into a hook. Tons of elbow pain, tons of weakness, a lack of commitment in that area. And I've realized I may be developing strength when I'm in the hook through these movements, but I don't really have any strength to put the match into a hook. So I sort of did some digging, different exercises, found this one. I really like it. It feels good on the elbow, feels good on the supinator. It's more range of motion than my other supination movements, and I think that probably I need a more dynamic supination movement. And this is that. This move is going to be the fundamental basis of inside arm wrestling. I believe so. As Devin Leonard has said, and many others have said, the point or the goal in inside arm wrestling is to pull the match into yourself, to bring your hand close to your body. And that's just what this is. I'm doing it for a 4x10 with 25 pounds. This is the newest movement in this day, so obviously I have to start off super light. 4x10 because I think that probably a bit higher reps in a movement like this is going to be better. It's a lot less of an isometric, it's more dynamic, and it puts more torsion or torque, I guess, on the elbow joint, the elbow tendons, specifically going from that backwards into side direction. It's going to put a lot of stress on the elbows. So I like to do it for higher reps. I might drop down eventually to sets of 6. I doubt that I'll go lower than that, just because I think that going lower than that might actually damage the elbow more than it will strengthen it. This movement is new. I've had it for maybe a month or two, not very long, so I'm very interested to see how it plays out, how it feels in the long run. With that, that's it. That's the first day of this block. I feel that this is the best inside day that I could do. Here's my weight this morning. Here's the album I listened to during this session. Great album. So follow along for the rest of this block, for this taper, and comment if you have any ideas, if you have any questions, and see you next time.